Okay, what's up? What's up? What's uppy? Let's see. 1 second. Bro, today I ended up having a really good read on the market, bro, on a euro at least. So I was anticipating this retracement, and if you remember, I said this, okay? So I wanted to see price first mitigate this consolidation in this AVG, and then form that lower high and start breaking lower, causing a market structure shift. And then on the retracement, I wanted to wait for a 1 minute entry pattern and then look for some souls. And if you look at price here, that's exactly what happened, right? We took that counter trend trade to retrace towards the 50-minute AVG, and I was expecting lower prices. From this 50-minute, we see we mitigate this consolidation right here, and then we have a small reaction higher. We failed that lower high, we caused that break of structure, and here we get the retracement to look at these shorts to target this low right here. Exactly what I wanted ended up happening, with one small difference, right? We did have, you can call this a good 3-minute entry here on this break of structure here. This could have been a decent 3-minute entry like this, but R was really bad for me. 1.5 is not that bad. I would have probably taken it, but I wasn't on the charts. But if you look at 1 minute, here is where I would have liked to see that really good break. I wanted to see some type of gaps, because these entries in the scenarios like this are the ones that really offer us those high RRs. Imagine if we would have gotten an entry here, we would have gotten like 3R or some shit like that to target this low. That's how I usually trade. In this case, we didn't really get what I wanted, but that's all good. I didn't trade anyways. Timing was decent, but I just took the day off, right? And here also there was a potential entry. We didn't really mitigate it. I wasn't on the charts, but I had a good read on the market. That's pretty much everything that matters. Now the question is, what are we expecting for price to do on CPI, which is in 15 minutes? We see GU ended up completely inversing this FVG that we traded off. Retested it once, twice here on the retest, and here we ended up having a really good entry here with the break higher. This is a really good displacement. This could have been a trade to take towards the high, but pre-CPI is very risky. If it wouldn't be pre-CPI, I would have definitely taken this, at least to target this internal. So the worst case scenario would have been a 1.3 or some shit like that, but this trade looked good. Clear London continuation with flip bias. I would have taken this if we wouldn't have been pre-CPI, most likely on New York Open, almost New York Open. Very likely I would have taken it, but sadly in terms of timing we didn't really have what we want. So let's see what is the market doing here. So let's remove some of these drawings and make it a bit more clear. Now we actually have the sell side, right, which we might reach, we might not reach, but we have this inversion here. If we inverse this, I might be down to taking some buys towards this hourly FVG. If we fail this higher low here of the same zone we traded earlier, it would be pretty good to look at those buys, right? If we inverse, we make a market structure shift, and then from here I'm looking to target this and this, and that would be pretty decent, right? But we gotta see, maybe we come back and sweep this low again, we sweep these equal lows here and then inverse. That can also be a scenario. GU, I wouldn't really trade so close to the highs, definitely not. Let's see hourly. We had this very small FVG here. I wouldn't really be trading so close to the highs here anyway. So we do have kind of 50-minute FVG. We might still have like a potential idea here to target this buy side liquidity, but we gotta see what CPI does first. I'm gonna let the market settle. Let's see AU also. My idea on the AU ended up being really good here. Of this 50-minute FVG, we ended up printing lower massively towards these lows that I said. So again, a really good bias here. Now we see we have this 50-minute FVG where we might very easily keep holding lower, but again, pre-CPI we don't want to do this. We have this internal here which we might actually sweep. So let's look, because this can be a decent counter trend trade, but if we wouldn't had this 50-minute FVG in our way, it would have been way better. This looks like a good break lower to come towards this low again, but a 50-minute pre-CPI, I'm not sure I want to be taking this. We do have kind of this order block here, which is an interesting order block, but rather than that, not really. I was thinking about gold as well here with this 4-hour FVG. This can be some good buys off here depending on how strong we react of this. So if we react like how we do now, we swear with the consolidation low, we have this decent range here, and if we actually start giving some reactions, we can definitely look to be targeting these highs here. Very lower time frame play, very range bound play. So this might be an opportunity. If we come into December, this is actually really good, but we need to see some structure first of all. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see DXY. DXY kind of looks like it's gonna flip, in my opinion. Kind of looks like it's gonna flip, but I'm not sure about this. We have the supply here, we have all this buy side liquidity rated and followed. If we follow with an inversion, pretty confident we actually can reach lower into this. This is some sort of pattern I see sometimes, but it does depend whether we inverse this or not. Euro C, Euro has this interesting bearish gap here, which might hold throughout CPI lower. But yeah, we're interesting here. We're interesting on DXY, but it's a bit of a high resistance in this area, but it's all good. I don't really have a clear bias. We probably can look at NASDAQ here maybe, but we have this pretty strong rejections here. So I would say actually bias would be bullish here, considering these rejections that we have of this hourly here. They're very strong rejections, very strong. I think it's a 4 hour as well. We might be reaching towards this high resistance area, which would be this bearish FVG here. That can be an idea that we look to play. We have really strong rejections. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do, but I would like to see some sort of retracement, and from here look to target internal and that hourly, right? That's interesting. Let's look at SPX. SPX is also interesting, but I wouldn't be trading this. I don't like how we're looking. Same with US 30 though as well. We do have this low, which is pretty nice to be trade off, but I'm not sure we're gonna take it. We have this hourly here, which we kind of look like we're holding. So it does depend on what we behave, but not really the greatest. Paris not really looking that great today. Not really looking that great, but yeah, we're chilling. I don't remember, did we take a trade on UK? We didn't we? Or DAX, did we trade? Oh, DAX ended up melting. We're gonna see. I want to see the market settle. We're probably gonna look at some lower time frame play in here. We really want to see the market settle after CPI, then really make a decision on what we're gonna do next. Here it makes it a bit risky because we have that 4 hour that we reached into. We do have the strong inversion here on the 4 hour, but we're gonna see, right? We have to really see what the market prints today. Yeah, this euro, I do like this idea, looking for higher prices here. We're looking like we're failing the higher low, but I would want to see this liquidity taken. It's not some really major liquidity, it's just this low, but why I would want to see it getting retested is because of that hourly FVG right here. That's why I would like to see get retested, and for me it's a solid draw. It's very unlikely for price to continue bearish off some internal high here. It's more likely for us to reach into this and then continue bearish, and especially if we fail here followed by a 50-minute inversion, it's pretty clear we're reaching back into the high and back into that area. But we gotta see first. We gotta see how CPI behaves, right? Also, Geo looks pretty good on being bullish here. I have a really big feeling that we're gonna mitigate this, which was the zone we got invalidated upon. Yeah, this looks good here. It would be decent to be looking at buys. We don't really have a POI though. We have this interesting order block here, I would say. Pretty interesting order block. I wouldn't really call that. I would look at this order block, to be honest, and looking for buys. We're gonna see. Gold is interesting, but it's also weird. I like this area, so probably gold does hold some opportunity even on the hard time frame. If you think about it, we have a 4 hour VG, except that the only thing I don't really like is that the 4 hours is extremely big. I would anticipate us drawing towards this and this, but we do really need some confluence here to be taking this buy, so we're gonna see. For now, I can't say I really see an opportunity. I need the market to do something, but we did end up holding that. And same on AU, I think we're gonna hold this like bearish from here. This could have been an idea, but it's just pre-CPI. Like, come on, we cannot really be trading pre-CPI. And interesting enough, we see that we are reacting of that order block that I marked. Oh, it's really interesting that we're reacting of this. It's just the only down candle in this price. Like, that's why this order block, even if small, even if no liquidity rate, ends up holding some relevance. That's why we're seeing that reaction. Because remember what ICT said, in bullish order flow we see down close candles hold price. So that's why we cannot see this reaction right here, because it's kind of the only down close candle, right? So we interesting price action, but right now I don't really see any setup. Ooh, Euro reacting pretty strong here on being bearish of this AVG, which I kind of liked. I did like this AVG. Looks like a really nice inverse, but definitely not something we could trade, especially now if we start failing off this and we start initiating the inverse on CPI, and then seeing that retest, it can be a really good trade for us. So kind of looking at Euro here, I do like, especially if we hold. It's either we hold from this 1 minute or we come and mitigate and then initiate the bullish or the flow, but we gotta see. GU, it's weird. I wouldn't, oops, I have no idea what I did. I wouldn't really be trading it right now. Let's see what XRP does. Oh yeah, we'll retrace it. Bitcoin is at 120. We just swept this big ass consolidation, but we're gonna see. You're holding pretty bearish of that 50-minute though for now. You gotta see, depends. Some days CPI is not that volatile. We have some days where CPI is not that volatile, it doesn't have a lot of volatility, and then that carries on to 2 PPI. So we're gonna see what type of CPI we have today. We have this really good gap getting mitigated here. I mean, this order block, my bad, right here, pretty decent order block to hold, potentially hold higher. We initiated really nice. Like, this would have been a setup I would take, definitely, if we wouldn't have been on CPI, because we have this really nice sell side rate here. Really nice sell side rate internal. We have a really nice intraday profile, which is London continuations. We see price rebalanced equilibrium. This is something I would definitely be traded in, definitely. Maybe even on this 1 minute right here, I would have taken this. This looks really good as a London continuation. Why I really enjoy scalping right now is because it dwells a bit more in my intraday skills. I was always a good trader on intraday basis and on a session basis. That's why this is the only indicator I have. I was always a good intraday trader. Now that I'm trading scalping, it's a bit more oriented around that. So we gotta see how this behaves, or maybe we wake into this. We're gonna see, but we have like 6 more minutes until CPI. So yeah, this looks good. This would have been definitely a nice trade to take. The SPY here, not really. I wouldn't have taken the SPY, just weird ass, goofy ass. We got stopped out here, but it's all good. Here we definitely need to see some 50-minute structure to be taking the SPYs. We cannot be trading off, yeah, that big ass void. If we actually see a 50-minute gap lower, it's more likely that we just keep drawing, because this is a very voided gap. I would anticipate at least equilibrium prices, which generally I think would be this right here, this zone. Anticipate more lower prices, but I do want to see some 50-minute confluence no matter what I really want to do here. So you have to see some intraday price action here, but it's interesting. It's interesting that how big of a difference. So we look at this, AU is the weakest. We see how weak AU is. Euro is somewhere in the middle, and GU is strongest. We see that GU broke structure higher, which again is something interesting. So definitely, if we wanted to buy, we would have bought GU. If we wanted to sell, we would have shorted AU, Euro or AU. But yeah, it's really interesting. So let's see what do we actually do here. I like this internal here on AU. I like this internal right here. I would like to target that, but this 50-minute is really a pretty big cock block for me to target that. If we wouldn't have this 50-minute present, considering the sales already, we could have actually looked at a very short-term scalp higher. But it's crazy how well we're respecting that 1 minute order block. It's pretty crazy. But I do like Euro also, so Euro can be a pretty good idea for today. Us targeting this high, this being target, no matter that this liquidity is not that significant, that liquidity rate, this can be one of our targets. We can pay a bit of attention to this order block. And yeah, it can be a really good trade if we initiate higher and break above this 50-minute, and that would serve as a break and retest area pretty much. If we don't, we're like more likely to come back into the soul side and then maybe inverse. And we see that we also have this smaller FVG here. We see that we're actually kind of holding with the bodies. We see how the bodies are respecting right here. So yeah, it's interesting price action today. See how it's trapping both buyers and sellers. We don't know which side we're gonna go on, but we do have this bullish FVG here, and I'm curious if it holds. This would be a nice failed swing, right? A failed swing, it's not really a failed swing, but that's just how I got used to calling it. It's just a big ass range, and then we wait for extra confirmation on discount pricing to look for buys. That would be great, but I wouldn't really be buying here, not yet, because we just came off a 50-minute FVG, and it's more likely for us to be holding bearish at this point. With this inversion right here, this can be a really short-term trade, but of course we're not going to be taking it because it's too risky. But we can try on our demo. We can definitely be trying on our demo if we even get a retest, but it doesn't really look like we're going to get a retest. Boom, very short-term idea, and looking to target this. Again, we came into this order block, which is really interesting here. Really interesting price action. I love scalping, bro. Probably same with here. Also, juice kind of switching bearish by the looks of it. We have this bearish FVG, and we have the inversion here, which looks like it's gonna start switching bearish. Maybe again we see those equal highs swept again, and we actually come in this order block for here. We might have a bit of a better buys, I would say, but we're gonna see. No, we got missed. Okay, now we got tapped. I'm curious about this demo. Doesn't look like a strong reaction, but I'm still curious. We're doing these out of curiosity. We might just fail and continue, but now is really when volatility is gonna spike a bit. I would say we actually come into this. Right here it's a bit better, but we gotta see. We're definitely not gonna be trading live on CPI, and we don't have a good setup to be trading live anyways. Like if you would trade CPI, at least you would trade like crazy R. You would not really trade a 1.6 R. But yeah, it's interesting. We do have this internal sell side build here, which is interesting to say the least. This looks like a good gap here as well on GU to potentially switch bearish of this internal. It could have been a decent scalp here towards this internal, but are we really trading pre-CPI? I don't think it's necessarily a good idea to be trading pre-CPI, and I think even now it's too likely to be coming and wicking that shit right here. It's more likely to come there rather than continue lower, I would say, because we're still holding this 1 minute here. I want to do something interesting here, and I want to see boom, boom, boom. I want to try this out just for funsies, meaning we have a limit order, a short limit order on this 1 minute VG. I'm kind of expecting that wick to come. I'm curious how volatile CPI is gonna be today. Yeah, 30 seconds. Oh, why am I getting excited and nervous? Okay, good. Oh shit, we might be able to read that first and 10 of CPI, meaning we dwell until these lows. And Geo looking like it's holding that gap really well. I should have probably short here on demo as well. Let's see how volatile CPI is. Oh my, now let's see just a 100 pip candle. Oh. Oh. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Look at this. God damn. I guess I had a good bias. I just didn't know how volatile this shit is gonna be. Oh my fucking god. Oh my, it's like a 50 pip. Yeah, it's not 100 pip, but it is a 50 pip candle. It's crazy how we use this internal liquidity to buy though. Oh my fucking god, bro. That's pretty crazy. Oh my god, it's crazy that fucking AU ended up holding this order block, bro. That shit is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, Gengi. And this was our target. Sadly, we just took all of our targets. God damn. Let's see, gold. Yeah, gold is being bullish as well. Oh my god, I had a good read as well here. I mean, we gotta wait for the market to settle. Even if this gap looks good, we need to wait for some structure. I still like this gold buy here. It's not as let's see DAX. We're gonna see that DAX is not that volatile, and DAX and UK are not that volatile, not that hugely impacted by oh shit. That hugely impacted by candles. Is it still a good short? Probably, but I do really want. We should wait for the market to settle again. We cannot really be. Look at the precision on how we're rejecting over that 50 minutes. Crazy here. Really crazy precision. Look at the body. Like, can we just like? I'm gonna try something here, which might look slightly stupid, but I'm just gonna try for funsies. We're still demoing. Definitely not. Definitely not gonna do it on. Bro, even paper trading is laggy. Like, what is he doing, bro? It's lagging. It doesn't execute our trade. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's a demo. But look how the bodies are respecting that 50-minute candle. 50-minute AVG is kind of fucking crazy here. I would say we're shorting, but I do want to wait for the market to settle. We don't really want to be doing much here. We didn't have much manipulation, but yeah, this is crazy how we're respecting with this wicks right here. It's pretty crazy. It's more of an intuitive play or a gamble, however you want to call it. Like the bodies this is kind of what makes me be slightly in shock how we're respecting that shit right there. Look at this shit, bro. Oh, now okay. After a while you woke up. Oh, not a soul limit, Gengi. See gold, I do want to see some structure. I do still like this gold buy, but never trust the first 50 minutes of CPI open. Completely inversed here. We're gonna have a very volatile day on Nasdaq. Manipulated all of our zones. It's still kinda down. We did reach this hourly, but I would say we're it's weird. I wouldn't really take any trade. I would wait for post CPI to really print some price action. Actually, our TP should probably be around here. But yeah, this would have been like the inspection on that 50 minutes. Absolutely fucking crazy here. The precision we feel it, and how we're respecting with the bodies is pretty crazy. That's what really interesting about this. You want CPI to settle. CPI usually takes around 15 minutes. Yeah. I would like to see still that. I would like to see my ideal ways to see some shit like this on gold, to see some sells are getting sweep. Then we entry to be targeting that range high here. That would be a decent setup, but we need to wait for CPI to settle, definitely. CPI volatility to settle. Oh shit, stop loss should be here. Definitely not gonna be trading anything yet, but we're waiting on this gold. For me, gold looks good, and considering the reaction we got of these lows and of that 4 hour. kind of showing me that we might be drawn higher towards this and this as targets. But yeah, buying off here, usually these gaps don't hold. That's one you always almost always see some shit like this on news. Say what Nasdaq open. Usually these gaps either get manipulated, very or just don't work. Very rarely they end up holding where to the point where on open it's like this on news on market open and Nasdaq we just want to wait for the first 50 minutes of volatility to usually settle that. We want to wait for that really that CPI volatility to settle. Usually these, as I said, they do not hold most of the time. So we're gonna go smoke a cig. We're gonna let the volatility settle, and we're gonna scan for some opportunities. But I did really like those that inspection though, but it got fucking dismantled. It's all good though. It's crazy that these gaps actually end up holding. I do like how gold is forming. I do like this. Now seeing some type of sweep here, I would like, even though we do not have a 50-minute gap, so we'll see if we manage to make a bend in our rules, but I do want to make it with reason. I still don't trust if we break from here. I do want to see a sell side sweep first of all, and then I'll be looking at those buys. Look at this crazy retest. What is this high? Oh yeah, the previous range high. Look how we retested. Pretty crazy. Almost retesting the 50-minute here. Kinda came for it, but didn't really reach it. So I wouldn't still be looking at buys. It looks like we have a lot of bullish momentum, but look at the 50-minute candle. I don't really trust a lot of times. It's better off to be looking at shorts here, I would feel like, but we don't have much confluence to be looking at shorts. So I would still like to see the sweep right here. That would be my confluence. I'm taking some buys on gold. Gold is pretty much the only pair I really like to be trading today. If we get that sweep, if we don't, that's it. It is what it is. Ooh, we look like we're breaking now, but I'm not sure. I want to be taking this. Right, we do have this, which we're probably gonna hunt for, but I don't trust this moves. Even though it does look good here, but the idea is extremely small, so it does look like a good gap, but I would just not. I don't trust these moves until I see a liquidity rate, so it's just better off to wait for volatility to settle. These not often they hold. I would say there are times when it holds, but in a case like this, I just prefer on being safe rather than sorry, to be honest. I do really want to wait for what I said. It's more like I would like to see some buy liquidity formed here, see that retracement, manipulate this low and then break higher. But the thing is, this low did have a pretty deep pullback. That's why we might not see that retracement, right? So we're gonna see. Refresh. Do we want to take this though? I'm not sure. It's just better off to wait, to be honest. I would demo it, sure, but maybe we can take it. I'm not sure still. We have our thing ready here, but I don't trust the CVGs. As I said, I'm better off not getting FOMO and waiting to see something. It's just better off to avoid. Even if it works, it's better off to wait for the liquidity rate or for some more structure. Even though we're kind of 50-minute seed is getting inverse. That's why I say I don't trust these moves. I tried trading them a lot of times. Most of the times they actually end up failing. That's why I'm not gonna take it on my personal, because they just don't hold most of the time. There are some potential decent shorts though, but yeah, see, it's getting inversed. Yeah, that's why you don't really trade these gaps. They're not trustworthy, really. Even if he holds, they're still not trustworthy. They fail more often than they hold. I tried trading it a lot of times, even on demos, and exactly how I'm doing now. That's why now I kind of have some experience with them, but I wouldn't really be taking them. I would still prefer to see the Sosa rate. It's not worth chasing price so deep in premium, right? We're really close to the high. I prefer still, I'm waiting. Imagine here we get 2R that is really stretched, but if we get a buy from here, bro, 5R, so it's just better off to wait for that high quality setup. This is definitely not a high quality. We don't even have that 50-minute VG getting printed. We have it now, which is actually great. Yeah, it's looking like it's holding, but now we have, which is weird. It's a bit weird, this 50-minute gap. If we look at price, see where the 50-minute gap is. But yeah, still gonna wait for that. Even if it works, it is what it is. Let it work. But I don't trust CPI price action. At least I do not trust these moves, right? The first moves, usually they just tend up to be printed against more often than not. Or they tend to bait some bars and then they manipulate, then they continue. which is more usual on what we actually see. This can be a good continuation, but I don't really want to be buying. I'm not sure if I want to be buying towards this resistance though. Probably, yeah, we have this inversion here. Probably better off to just not trade it, but yeah. Interesting. This looks like it's gonna hold, but still better off to wait for that retracement that we said we will wait for. If we get it, if we don't, it's all good though, gang. We don't need to be trading every move that the market makes. I wouldn't really consider this a valid sell set. The only reason why I say it might work is because this move right here rebalance equilibrium of this gap. That's legitimately the only reason why the trade might work. But if it works, it is what it is. It's just too risky. Stop loss is definitely not safe. A safe stop loss would be, I'll say, at least here or at least here, which again, look at our R, it's pretty dog shit. But an interesting idea to say the very least. I would say we're still more likely to be holding bearish sweeping and then continuing, but we're gonna see. We're still just watching for fun, but yeah, definitely I would not trade this. I don't trust these gaps. Even if it works, I don't trust them. And it's nice here. Look at the precision on this fill here. Look at the bodies. They fully fill that gap here, and look. I definitely had a bullish bias, but as I said, I was waiting for my criteria to sweep this low. But it's really interesting the precision which we swept that. We filled this gap with. Here now we took this high. So I would, for my idea to buy on gold, I would definitely want to see these highs stay intact, definitely, because these are my drawn liquidity. So I would want to see price start react, and now coming back to sweep this low, and then we look for some buys to target this. That would be what I want to see from the market here, and that's what I'm waiting for. If it takes out liquidity, it's over. Like, I'm not gonna be trading. And it's still it's just like buying off here is like having a knife up your ass, bro. Like having this big of a gap to buy with, like even buying here knowing that there's this big ass void here, bro. Hell nah. This is just too likely for price to be drawn towards it. Even, let's see if this, yeah, it looks like it's gonna hold. It was a pretty short idea, but I'm not sure if I'm wrong for not taking this. We'll see. Looks like it's gonna work. Maybe it was, I think the reason why we shouldn't have expected that rate on this is because of the deep pullback, basically, which I kind of knew, but I was scared to execute. I do admit that I was scared to execute here because of not really a safe stop loss at all. But yo, it's good to learn still. It's good knowledge to gain from this. Definitely good knowledge to gain, but yeah, the stop loss here wasn't safe at all. Maybe if I would have gotten a gap here, like something like this, would have been way better, right? Because look how close it came to the stop loss. If we would have had a stop loss here, we would have been out like bye-byes. We took London high here, but at least I had a good bias, right? That's what matters to me. I don't really see any setups. I would be down on buying GU if we make a good retest, but even on these retests, I like this liquidity rate, so maybe us reaching back into here and from here looking to continue buys, and it would be decent actually. But Euro and AU definitely looks like it's gonna be bearish of that 50-minute. Still respecting it here. It definitely looks like it's gonna be bearish though. Now if we actually start retracing, that would be perfect, but I'm not sure. It's kind of unlikely that is gonna happen at this point. It might, but still pretty unlikely. Yeah, it's more likely to hold realistically. This was the opportunity of CPI for now, but we gonna see. Actually, G is the weakest apparently, how we're looking right here. This low here getting rated, I would like this. I would still be down on continuing higher. Let's see 4 hour. They have the small order block and this inversion. Interesting, but I still think we're just gonna be bullish at this point. But yeah, I do want to see these sellers, these buyers right here getting stopped out. We us filling this gap right here, and then from here looking at buys. I do want to reduce the opacity of this, bro. So let's see. Okay, yeah, it's weird. I would say we're just more likely to be holding buys here on gold. Yeah, too risky of a trade, sadly, but at least we got a decent read on it. Maybe we still get that sweep, which still be unlikely, but we gonna see. This was pretty much the only good opportunity for CPI, at least until now, but just better off to wait. Wait for CPI volatility to settle. Yo, we're back. Yeah, bro. Hi, bro. Do you have any potential trades after this big ass goofy ass candle? Goofy ass. It's not that big. It's like 30 pips on AU. It's 50 on euro. You have any potential trades here? For me, this was it, but I just didn't take it. I didn't, too risky. I want to see volatility settle in the market. So I would want to still see that sweep right there. Yeah, and actually looks like we just came close to the high. We left liquidity intact, which is a good blueprint left by price, but yes, he's getting inversed. Ha 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 ha. See how we just avoided a bullshit trade? I don't know why my chat is not working, sadly. It doesn't really look like it's working, but gonna make it work at some point. So we're waiting on this sweep here. But we do have that inversion, which is not sure. I do want to be trading on it, but you're gonna see. Probably GU realistically the only another opportunity, which I wouldn't really say it's fully valid, but yeah, I would like to see the 50-minute candle close here to be fully valid of looking at buys. Usually slow resistance here should be fine on printing higher, except we do have that 4-hour inversion right here, which looks pretty good, but we gonna see. Euro, I was looking at buys, but all of our targets got reached already, so. And this is a pretty good hourly inversion here to be trading off of, but I don't know if I want to be trusting targeting in that way necessarily. So usually in these gaps, for me to be actually confident trading, I need to see some liquidity rate and I need to see most of them getting filled. Otherwise, hell nah, it's too risky. Why did I sound like a baby, bro? AU is still looking bearish for me. Looking at these highs here, very interesting. Again, like, I don't know, behavior to this 50-minute VG on AU was crazy. Look at these highs right here at the top of the 50-minute VG. Yeah, this is still very likely to be failing here. We do have these equal lows. Interesting, but I still wait for this though. Bow. Yeah, see, gold is failing. Said don't ever trust these gaps, bro. Most often than not, they fail. Now it's looking pretty strong on being bearish here, actually, but we don't really have a proper buy sell liquidity where we just took this London high, which we consider as a valid part, but we need 2 more minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. I do like this, actually. Wait, I do like this right here. It's very internal, very lower time frame, but we do have a unique low sweep right here. This can be a good gap to be inversing if we do, but I don't really think so. I think we're just gonna hold it lower considering breakaway inverse. This is like a market structure shift, and now we have the follow-up to take price towards this. But we don't have confluence to be taken. I'm gonna demo it though. Stop loss above the breakaway inversion. Boom. So limit, we're gonna put it right here. Stop loss again above the breakaway. Place, send. I don't think it got tapped, but it's all good though. This is a really counter trend idea. If we would have had a proper buy sell liquidity sweep, I would have very likely just taken this, but like this, hell nah. Hell nah, sir. See how many baits are in the first like half an hour of CPI. There's so many baits. Like we see this bullish order flow just holds once and then fucking reverses. It's always I like what I like to do, what I see works more so often than not is us trading against this CPI opens direction and trading against it most of the times. It's just more probable rather than taking these. It's looking pretty good. We got missed on the demo, but it's all good. We just want to see if we're right on our idea. I would say we are. Yeah, I would say we should hunt this, and we're basically okay. How are we not tapped even now? But I'm gonna market this shit because the market doesn't want to tap us in, so I'm gonna do it myself. Just curious. I do like how this gap is looking. But yeah, let's see. Oops. If we would have taken that buy side, I would have taken this as a valid retracement trade. Even without a 50-minute confirmation, I would have taken this as a valid retracement trade, definitely. Ooh, I really like these equal lows being built here on GU. See these equal lows right here? Perfecto. And we're probably gonna close the 50-minute candle as well. Now we closed it, we just closed it. This looks like a valid trade at this point for me. Looking to be targeting higher, but we have to be careful at the higher time frame POI. Boom, 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 boom. This looks like it's holding pretty well for now. Let that play until GU taps our alert. Okay, let's eliminate distractions and let's focus if we want to take this buy. We didn't mitigate the 50-minute true, but it does look like a good momentum higher of this inversion to take towards the buy side liquidity. The thing is, I would not necessarily expect this to be taken because it got filled at equilibrium, so usually we don't really retrace, but I would still wait at least for this 50-minute to get tapped, even though I feel like in this case it doesn't really matter that much. So let's see. Oh, that's a pre-bearish reaction on gold. We're on gold. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, I want to see. Yeah, that's $4. Are we sure we want to just throw our money like that? Not really, because this is a very bearish inspection of this inverse here. That's why, remember, We put our stop loss above the inversion. So yeah, we're still a bit more likely on drawn lower, I would say. Interesting. Remember, we still have this inversion right here. I do want to see first how we're respecting, right? I want to see how this 1 minute candle really closes for me to take this buy, because it is pretty valid. We had an equal low sweep and we had that move higher. It's just I don't know whether I would want to wait for price to come and sweep this low or not. For now, it's looking like a pre-bearish inspection. So all I want to really see is which side. Oh yeah, we're bearish here. I don't want to have that order open, it scares me. But yeah, we probably could have, yeah, this would have been a better entry for a demo. Wouldn't take it again because of that buy sell liquidity still being intact. I wouldn't have taken it. Yeah, this is probably going to be a fractal high, and we're probably going to hold this bearish gap lower right here. Where's the not comparison, but this right here is very, very likely to hold it lower. But yeah, just for funsies, we're gonna see. This looks like a fractal high. That reaction here is very dangerous. It wouldn't look like something that ends up printing bullish, but we gotta see. I really like this outside being built here, but we're also pretty dangerous holding that inverse. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be printing bearish towards the slow, and then we can look at those buys. How we respected this market structure shift, or whatever you want to call it, the inversion. This is a really key inversion, and how we're respecting it. Now we're taking this as resistance. Look how the body's respecting it. We like on holding lower, I would say, and just melting towards this low. Let's see. I could bet my house on this, bro. And the fact that we're gonna hold this, but maybe I'm wrong and I'm losing my house. If we would have taken that buy side, I would have taken this trade, but like this, too risky. Are we really holding bullish over here? I still think it's pretty unlikely though. I'm definitely not gonna buy until I see a gap, or I wouldn't really buy anyways. I still think we're gonna be holding bearish. Shawty getting. Oh my god, we're minus $800. Oh my god. I mean, I can't imagine how that feeling really is when you're really minus $700 or $900. Okay, we're looking pretty bullish. We're taking that as support actually, but I still don't believe this pattern. I don't trust this move higher. This still looks like a fractal high to me, and if the bodies keep respecting this bearish VG right here, we definitely be hitting lower. I do want to see something. I kind of been really cold to switching my layout to white again, but I'm not sure. Okay, you almost I kind of miss it, but it kind of hurts my eyes in a sense. Yeah, see, yeah, I can go back to this. I can go back to those colors. But as I said, I don't trust. I just trust this fractal high. I've seen this pattern thousands of times. And in context, and in the king high here forming on that inverse is just very clear on being bearish. I still do really like this buy here on GU. Targets were really voided. I don't know though. I don't know if I want to be buying against that inversion here. We're in premium prices, which makes buys definitely riskier, but we're gonna see. See, they're holding bearish here. I'm gonna open a new chart and look on my second monitor because I do want to keep this gold trade going just for the beauty of it. because price action is really beautiful here. It is really beautiful. Kind of rare to see beautiful price action on gold. Usually gold just leaves without giving a shit, without retracing, without giving inverses and shit like that. It just leaves most of the time. But yeah, or we might just hold that 50-minute VG. But for me, 50-minute VG here it's irrelevant because not really. I would still say here is what I would call relevant. Us coming to sweep the slow, but price action, I do really like the price action here. I like this. I would call this a market structure shift, but an inverse market structure shift in a sense, an order flow shift, if that makes sense. Yeah, order flow shift, is that a new term? The new better term? Order flow shift? Sheesh, that's it, bro. An order flow shift. Because that's actually what it is, if you think about it. Or a PD shift, PD array shift. And nigga shift. Oh shit, what did I say? Oh my fucking god. Ban me. Jews reacting decently higher. But we do want to see a big gap. Not yet too certain, but this is beautiful price action on gold. I do like this price action. But we see if it plays out. You might just print bullish from here. We don't know because we did mitigate that 50-minute, but I would still want to see this low getting taken. No matter really what happens with this. After we take that low, sure, buddy. Let's look at some buys. Price action is beautiful here. I do really like this. Bullish order flow, boom. Buy sell liquidity rate, inversion, building in this one high here. Bait sellers come, tap that inversion, then boom, close below this gap here. Hold it, look at the bodies, and then hold lower towards internal liquidity. Really textbook, except again we didn't take that buy all that buy sell liquidity, which I definitely would have liked to seen taken here for me to take this trade. But it's still nice price action. You gotta give credit where credit is due. No matter if we're in the trade or not, still beautiful PA. An interesting gap, but it kind of I'm looking at you and it kind of looks like a gap that gets inversed. But let's see the break higher. What break do we get? Because look at this, we're starting to break higher, but this is definitely not something trustworthy. Euro looks better, ooh, but I wouldn't really trust buying here though. Euro definitely looks better here of the retest of that 50-minute inversion and look at the 1 minute candle, but I wouldn't be buying still. I wouldn't be buying. But it looks like a good gap, but I'm not gonna get FOMO because of this. We do have a 50-minute gap. It doesn't look necessarily that highly resistant though. That's still, we're trading around this, which is risky thing to do. Yeah, gold is definitely, this is a nice trade. It's definitely gonna hold lower towards that low, I would say. Even though it's slow, I still think it's gonna hold. More likely. Apparently TP got hit, but we should have gotten tapped out of it on the demo as well, but we're just gonna close it manually. Yeah, really nice price action here on gold. Really nice PA. Let's look at the euro. Euro looks like it's holding, but it can't, bro. Like, the only thing I don't really like about this trade is the fact that we are not close above that hourly inversion here. And for me, it would still be risky. We're likely on reaching towards that internal, but still not really it though. But this was a pretty clean price action here on gold. Really clean price action actually. Now we want to see if we hold those buys, but I wouldn't really be that confident in holding buys after this fractal high got built. We didn't get the buy side liquidity rate. I think we rated London highs, very close rating it, but didn't fully rate it. Now we have this as a trigger of taking price higher though. It should be good actually. Now I'm getting exactly what I want, which would be this low getting swept. Again, remember what I said about this gap. Too risky to be trading it. Most of the time they don't end up holding, at least not in the long term, and look what happened. We build really nice. I don't think I ever seen gold respect gap so well and give this nice ICT price action that we did in this trade right here in this demo. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Geo's still stalling. I'm gonna go smoke a CD and we're gonna wait. We're looking at gold and GU. I would like gold a bit more though. I mean, in terms, if you look at this, yeah, it looks good. But again, I wouldn't really be trading unless we really be coming above that 50-minute VG. Oh, 1 hour inverse here, because if we don't break above it, this we can just get rejected lower and print towards this big ass gap. So yeah, looking good for now as holding higher, but I don't know if I'm wrong for not taking it. We're gonna see. I'm still gonna trust my decision here. So yeah, we're gonna wait. I still like GU a bit better for buys here. We did take the high. I mean, on all pairs we did really take the high, but I feel like this is just a bait for now. So I still probably prefer gold here. Because also GU command, we just mitigated a 4 hour inverse. It's still risky to be taken. In Euro, where we have a 1 hour inverse here, so it's just too risky to be trading unless we really get some serious confluence. It's just more likely to get inversed. We gotta think about probabilities though, and considering how we build this size, kinda likely to print very straight out. I'm gonna still wait and see what we got. We also have Nasdaq market open in 15 minutes. Yeah, I didn't even get to smoke my cig because gold is looking pretty solid on being higher here. If you're doing exactly as I wanted, I'm not gonna hesitate on entering this trade though. Of this inversion, if we get a retest, I want to see if we print a gap, stop loss below here. That's pretty much it. Please let me Tell me it works this time. Okay, it works this time. But it does basically exactly what I wanted. But I do want to see how this gap forms, because if it forms very aggressively, I'm going to trade my entry here. Yeah, I'm going to trade my entry here. Take profit I'm not going to set because I have a higher time frame target. But we're going to see. Euro also looks like it's living higher, which is decent. This can also be a decent opportunity right here to take. I would prefer gold though. 30 seconds. Yeah, it looks like a pretty strong move here. Probably Geo as well, but Geo looks weird. I don't like how it looks. Ooh, I really like this gap here. We trailed our order, our limit order. This time we're limit ordering on this. Stop loss below the low. We have a solid 2 round on our first target. And we have, yeah, it's a very solid trade. And this is my higher time frame target, which is around 3.8. Yeah, did exactly what I wanted to do. Now we're just gonna let it run. I'm gonna go small my CD. I do really like this displacement though. So we're just gonna let it run. And we're closing above that 50 now, which is really good. It's looking like it's reacting pretty bearish, but I'm still really fine with this trade. I'm still really fine because I think it's a good trade. We still have that buy side liquidity intact, that range high. But there are times when we just react like this and not take that range high, which can be a case now. But what I want to see is to get back inversed. If we do, I might consider scaling in. Right, this is a good start. A good start. If we see this inverse, it would be perfect. Can be a good scaling to, again, scaling here. I would still anticipate bullish prices for us here to sweep all this right now. I sweep all of this, but again, I think this right here, still all these highs are still intact, so I would still be drawn higher here, but it does depend on what price wants to do. As always, our entry this time was good, a limit order. That's exactly what we want to do from now on. I'm curious, 1 second, let's go on the hourly. This is my final draw here, so that's where I'm gonna make my take profit. And of course, we're gonna consider behavior. If this hits, we're making fucking $20. God damn. If it hits, of course. Now it's important to see that inversion and see a strong inversion here. We look for a really strong close. These gaps can be really, this type of gaps can be really inducing. A lot of times we see a close above, yet they still hold bearish. We need to see a really strong close, especially since the move higher is slow in a sense. Yeah, that's what we want to see. We get on final target, we have 3.8R. So see if bullish for the flow holds. I was looking at this and look, imagine us buying here, imagine us buying here or here, we would have already gotten stopped out, because again, look how the wicks here respected that hourly AVG. So we need to know when trading is risky. In this case, I still consider we reacted of that fractal area, which is sometimes what we might see, but I don't consider this a reason. I consider this slight danger. I wouldn't consider it a reason to invalidate the trade though, right? We had a pretty strong reaction of it. That doesn't mean we're gonna hold long term in a sense. So yeah, I still like this trade. This is our final target. This is probably where we're gonna trim. I mean, we cannot really trim because we only have 0.1 lots. Gold is very expensive, so we're gonna see. We're gonna act on behavior mostly, but we should be. Also, Nasdaq is opening soon. We rated all the spot. Oh, we already rated this range high. This might be a good bearish case, but we want to see market settle here. It's not a great sign. This is pretty bearish for now, but just trust. I do trust this trade. If it fails, it fails. For me, it's still a really good trade. It did exactly what I wanted to do. You saw me plan it from the start, and if it's gonna play out, it's gonna play out. This was a demo because we didn't take the buy side. So if it fails, it fails. I did say we want to see a strong close above the bearish, this bearish gap, which we didn't get for now. And yeah, it's looking like it's probably gonna fail, but I still consider it a very good trade. So as long as I consider a trade worth taking, and I know I respected my rules and I respected my plan, whatever happens with the trade doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? Stop loss is in a safe area. Sometimes we do come for this previous low, and we see that's exactly kind of what we did here. We just make sure, yeah, we're still in the trade. Our stop loss is still in a good area, even though minus $2 doesn't really matter. The amount doesn't matter for me. It's still a decent trade. So yeah, and we successfully avoided this fake out buys here on GU and on Euro. On Euro, we had a decent gap here from higher, but I said pay attention to the hourly gap. As long as we do not close above it, this is very likely going to be a trap. And look what happened here. We didn't close above it and we ended up being bearish. So yeah, I still believe in this gold trade though, so I'm still gonna hold it. Still looking, this rejection is good, especially if it follows through with an intent higher. That's gonna be really good here. Let's see. The reason why I was confident in gold buys was because we had this big ass 4-hour AVG that we massively wicked from, because we had all the sell side being built here on this consolidation, and because we have all this buy side to target. That was my reason for being confident in buying here on gold. But sometimes, again, I do say that sometimes we don't sweep this, but I would, in this case, I'm still confident that we're going to reach main TP here, and final TP is going to be around this hourly AVG where I'm expecting price to draw today. So yeah, still looks like a very solid trade for me. I'm gonna let it run. when price does exactly what you want it to be, there should be no hesitation on executing, and especially in holding the trade, right? As long as you know that you did the right choice and you executed properly, you waited for the right confluences, then there should be no reason for you to be worried about, no matter if the trade loses or wins at the end of the day. But I really see now price really easily coming into this high, but it does matter if we see an initiation, right? Because for now we're still respecting that bearish gap as we see here. So I do want to see us close above it, and yeah, that's a good start. Finally initiating higher. It's going to be a pretty high risk trade because gold in itself, 0.1 lots, is very high risk for a small account, right? So main TP, this is where we're going to have our main alert. I'm not going to scale in because already I'm pretty high risk on this trade, so I'm not going to be scaling in, even though we could, but still not a move worth scaling in on, really. But I do like how we build this right here. As I said, sometimes we come and retest the previous low that got mitigated. Look what happened here. Let's see, we should be fine on this though. Really fine. I'm confident in the trade, and that's it. But I do want to see some intent building higher, because we do have this relative strong high here where we traded the demo one. That's what we reacted off here, of that VG area here. But yeah, we're still lacking a bit of intent, but I don't think it should be necessarily a problem. Should probably be initiating soon though. Look here, the high is not even taken here. We see it's not even taken. Look at this, it's not even taken. So yeah, that's why I'm drawing higher here. Keep rejecting, but it doesn't really matter for now. I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna let the trade play out a bit, let it do its thing. Gonna smoke a ciggy, and yeah, we should be chilling still. I still like the trade, we should be chilling. Reacting pretty bearish though. The thing is, this FVG really end up causing a lot of trouble for price here. This fractal. Usually there are strong structures in price, but I wouldn't have considered a necessary like a thing to invalidate the trade. But look at these rejections, bro. Two really massive rejections. That's crazy. So I was looking at Nasdaq. We have a really nice gap here of the sell side liquidity sweep, but it's really lower time frame, and we just took this range high. So yeah, we don't really want to be taking this, but this would have been a decent buy here. Boom of this, boom. Really brain dead buy in a sense. Really no brainer here on Nasdaq, but I don't take it because we took the range high, which makes it risky. It looks like such a shallow raid. We might reach back into it, but it's just not. I wouldn't be trading this, but looks like gold is really finding a lot of resistance on this, but I still trust the trade. Whatever happens, happens. This is why I always talk about this fractal highs being really strong patterns in price, right? Let's remove some of the drawings, make it a bit more clear. These type of highs, which is like triple tops, you can call them, and this ended up really causing a lot of trouble for price, rejecting it twice here, and which is the reason why probably the trade will fail. Two rejections, but usually I consider them strong when we have like some sort of, I don't know, 5 minute, maybe not even 3 minutes, just a 1 minute fractal high. To be honest, I wouldn't really have considered it that dangerous, but yeah, sometimes they end up causing a lot of trouble. I do like this gap here on euro if he's break higher, but yeah, it's over. Like, come on, bro, why do you do this to me, bro? Okay, this was actually a fine trade, but what can you do? Let's see Nasdaq. Yeah, Nasdaq is flying off that. Could have been a decent trade, but yeah, that range high. And I think we retested. What is this? Is this a 50 minute? I think it's an hourly as well. Yeah, an hourly inverse here to trade off of. And look at this wick. Are we still in this? It's still in it, but the likelihood of it holding is very, very small. I mean, I still consider this trade, yeah, it's over, but I still consider it very valid. Sometimes trades fail. Annoying, but what can you realistically do? Could have maybe closed around here. Yeah, 1 minute FVG, a 1 minute fractal high ended up causing so much trouble, bro, for one setup. Again, buy sell liquidity really clear, but I think this relative raid here ended up causing this bearish momentum in price, but it didn't even take the high. That's what's weird in this case, right? Because if we draw London high, we see here we didn't take it. That's why I saw the sell happening, but I didn't want to take it because we didn't take buy sell liquidity. But this is just sometimes what price does. It doesn't care about that liquidity, it just reacts for some reason when there's very multiple. Yeah, it is what it is. It's probably gonna be our day today. We're not looking to trade. We already took a big ass fucking loss on gold, unless, I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna be looking to trade this again, but that is what it is. What can you do? Some setup failed. I was really confident in this, was expecting this to cause some resistance, but I didn't expect the setup to fail because of this though. But yeah, bias was weird here, but considering the rejection we got of that 4 hour, I was still expecting price to be delivering towards here and then continuing lower, but just didn't want to, I guess. Yep. Annoying, but can't do really much about it. It's nice. I think like these times are when you really can be down on trading market open on Nasdaq, when we had CPI and when a lot of volatility already got printed, right? We see that actually this was clean behavior on market open, which is very rare for Nasdaq. Very clean behavior. We just sweep this low, we break higher, we form this gap, and we just hold. And that's it. Like a very simple setup. This is very clean behavior for market open. Why? Because we had a lot of volatility getting injected pre-market open. That's why market open was not that volatile and manipulative as it usually is, right? And yeah, it would have been a good setup, but it is what it is. We already took this switch. Apparently, I don't know if I want to be trading gold, to be honest. Gold was not really like suitable for my style of trading a lot of times, but what can you do? It's annoying, but can't do much about it. Some setups fail no matter how good they are. But yeah, this Nasdaq is probably gonna go at least towards this, which was, it could have even went the stop loss like this, 2.6. Yeah, this Nasdaq setup was clean indeed. I think SPX and the other did something similar, but SPX didn't take this low. US30 they took it, but very a bit more choppy. Nasdaq was definitely the cleanest on this lower time frame sweep, and this low getting swept. Yeah, it was clean, but it has a, I don't know, I wouldn't really target on the liquidity already getting taken, sadly. We might be still continuing bullish, but I don't know. I don't really want to be forcing this idea. I was liking it, but I think, yeah, it's just a lot of resistance and a big ass consolidation, right? And price reacted of this Asian high, which I was not really aware of. Yeah, just too much liquidity in a sense. That's what happens sometimes when you have too much liquidity, too much resistance. This is what price does. It just reacts like doesn't have the momentum to go above them and ends up printing bearish. But yeah, we ended up rejecting really massively. If you look at the 50-minute here, how strong of the rejection we had. Again, our trade was of a 50-minute FVG, which is valid, and we had a really good gap print here. That's where I traded. So let me remove all of these. We had the sell side raid, and we had an inversion here and a very strong gap higher. This is where I took my trade. Right, for me, again, buy side liquidity should be easy, but it's, I guess it's too much resistance, really. Too much resistance, but yeah. June now it's looking like it's breaking decently. Not sure I want to force though. Any real opportunities, I'm not sure I want to force. Just gotta accept the L for the day. Yeah, it's just too much resistance. These are probably conditions that should have been avoided. Yeah, being present in high resistance scenarios. Yeah, just too much liquidity in a sense. Too much. Too much is not good. For sure would have been decent though. Of this. Oh, okay. Now we go, apparently. Weird ass, goofy ass. Oh fuck, I think today we have, maybe that's why, bro. I think I forgot. I'm not sure what we done. It's just some low impact news. Yeah, this is why I say when we already, oh shit. Yeah, oh my god, the people got hella fucking stopped here. Oh my fucking god, the people got hella fucking stopped in this buy right here. Oh my fucking god, it's absolutely gross. What is this though? What is this random volatility though? We just got swept, like gross sweep on liquidity. This was our idea. Oh my fucking god, that's gross, really. But we don't have another news rather than this, and this was my hard time frame target. Bro, that's really gross. We get something like this. Yeah, the market sometimes be doing bullshit like this. But the people on Nasdaq, it hurts my soul. I know that there's all these ICD traders that be trading Nasdaq here and placing their stop loss below this FVG, and they got fucking destroyed by this. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that got stopped out by this, definitely. But yeah, this was still a textbook setup for me. I'm not sure if I want to keep trading gold though. Should probably only focus on Euro GU, and again my bias ended up being correct here, but no real entries. It's definitely gonna be drawn higher now, considering this big ass wick, which I don't know where it come from, but I did expect, okay, one sweep. I would have expected price to run, but it baited buyers in, failed off this fractal, manipulated, and now it's going. Like, that's kind of gross, to be honest. But you cannot really control that manipulation. It's very hard to be predicting really something like this. Really hard to predict something like this, like that manipulation from happening, really. It's kind of gross though, still. Should just be avoiding at all. I think these conditions, when you see this, ow, no trades. I think that's probably the way you should be doing this. And I don't think I want to force a SPY again here. But it's very likely going to respect it. I'm going to take my L for the day. But it's fucking gross though. It's still fucking gross. The manipulation price does sometimes. But what can you do? Yeah, now it's definitely looking like it's going to reverse. Especially AU. Especially AU looks like it's gonna, we have a really good buy sell liquidity rate here. Really good. Same with G1 and Euro, they look like they're gonna reverse. But especially AU though. This can be a good trade. But we have a mitigated POI though. That's the only real downside, but it's not that strong. Yeah, now it's gonna work. Fucking gross. Could have been a scam, but it's already a lot of risk on the table. I don't want to really throw my money away like that on a low, like high resistance scenario here. But the manipulation is definitely fucking gross. Probably now could have entered, but yeah, I don't want to be forcing. I understood, okay, maybe these are conditions I should be fully avoiding. Just too high resistance is usually what it reacts off. It's not liquidity, it's like this rejection block that we form. That's what we reacted off here, so it's very highly resistant to be anticipating price to buy. Now we did after we manipulated all these sellers, but it's still fucking gross. So yeah, it's probably gonna work. It's probably even gonna work towards higher time frame target actually. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. We took a loss. No, I'm gonna cry, but our balance is taking huge tolls, but it's all good though. This was a gross manipulation. I still am really fine with the trade, but yeah,